It's enough of sedans and SUVs. This is the first real estate wagon, touring, call it whatever you want, but this is the first real one. I mean, until today we have had MG5 and the Taycan Touring. This one though is something in between, and it looks great, and that's from every angle. I seriously can't find any angle of this car that doesn't look good. Welcome to It's Only Electric. This video is about testing range, consumption, acceleration and noise of the Nio ET5 Touring. So let's look at some facts. It's equipped with the big battery pack of 100 kilowatt hours of gross capacity and 95 kilowatt hours of net capacity. NMC battery pack, so stated WLTP range is up to 560 kilometers, but that's with the standard 19-inch wheels. This one is equipped with 20-inch wheels, 245/40 all around, Pirelli P0 tires. This setup lowers the WLTP range to 514 kilometers. If you want more range but the same look, you can choose the same wheels but with low roll resistance Michelin E-Primus tires that gets a WLTP range of 555 kilometers. Driving on all four wheels, so two motors, one at the back and one at the front, combined output 360 kilowatts or 482 horsepower, 700 newton meters of torque. It should be able to do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4 seconds flat and has a top speed of 200 kilometers per hour. So it's time to go. Let's start with the range and consumption test. But before we do so, I just want to remind you of my full review of this car, including a lot of details, a lot of views, facts, driving dynamics. So don't miss that one, full review. I put the link up here and also at the end of this video. Let's go. This can be Europe's first real consumption and range test of the Nio ET5 Touring. I hope you are excited because I am. I really like this car, so please enjoy. Let me explain some basics about this test for you guys. I always run the same test for all the press cars I test and review. The test cycle is a 80 kilometers long test cycle. It has an average speed of 93 kilometers per hour, speeds between 50 and all the way up to 110 kilometers per hour. I follow a couple of rules. First rule, always stick to the speed limits. That's the easiest way to get the most consistent result as possible. Rule number 2, always keep the AC running at auto and 20 degrees. The last rule, always drive in eco mode if available. And in the Nio, it's available, so eco mode is active. So eco mode means that the car won't pull that much of energy to air condition the cabin. So it limits the output power of it to save some energy. And it also lowers the actual output, so power output is limited. Normally it's 360 kilowatts or 482 horsepower. On eco mode you don't have that power anymore. It limits it. And the 0 to 100 time is a lot slower. So 0 to 100 currently on eco mode is 9.9 seconds compared to 4.0 seconds. The first check-in, current consumption 18.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer. Just traveled 25 kilometers, so there's a good way to go. Not the lowest consumption yet, but it will probably go down a bit because I had just put a 110 kilometers per hour stretch behind me. So hopefully it will creep down. And just one thing to bear in mind, and that's the tires. The tires are actually brand new. The car was registered 9 days ago and have traveled 900 kilometers. So it's a brand new car. So that means that the tires are not worn in yet, and that will affect the rolling resistance in a negative way and raise the consumption a little bit. My channel just passed 10,000 subscribers and I'm really happy for that. And I really love when you engage, comment on my videos, give my videos thumbs ups and having nice discussions about the cars. But what I want to mention is that I think I have the greatest amount of English teachers following me, because I tend to get a lot of comments regarding my English, my accent, and my grammar. The fun thing is that usually it doesn't come from natively English-speaking people. It comes from Europeans like Swedes and Germans. I mean, guys, you know, English is not my native language. I'm a Swede, I live in Sweden. Swedish is my native language. My English is not perfect, but that's not the purpose. The purpose of my channel is to test and review and create content regarding fully electric cars. The grammar for me, it's of course important, but I still assume that you understand what I'm trying to say. I still assume that you get the content I'm creating for you guys. And I also assume that it's better for me to do it in English than in Swedish. I want to reach more people than just the Swedish talking. I want to reach out to a wider audience than I do in Sweden. That's why I do it in English. So all of you can watch it and understand it without reading a text. I don't get sad when you comment on my English or point out that I do something wrong grammarly. But sometimes I can get a bit irritated or frustrated because I want you guys to focus on the content. Please focus on the cars. The cars I'm trying to review. That's the content. That's the thing I want to discuss with you guys. Not my English. I mean, I'm too old to have English t-shirts now. That's not what I'm looking for. So please enjoy my videos instead. Enjoy the cars. Enjoy the feeling I'm trying to express for you guys. But don't stop engaging. Hitting the halfway. 40 kilometers now. Average consumption 17.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer. So it's still going down. And with this consumption, we will actually beat the VLTP range. So let's hope for that. The ET5 Touring is a really nice car to drive. You don't have that sophisticated air suspension as you have on the bigger Nio cars, but you have a steel spring suspension. And that's good in this case. I mean, the driving dynamics, the driving feeling is better. This car is more engaging than a car on air suspension. When you feel the vibrations in the steering wheel, you feel the road better with this car. And I think that's the purpose of the car. I mean, it's a sporty car, and let the suspension talk. Let me feel the road. That's a good thing. You don't always need to spec everything with the highest technology. Let me just do a brief comment on the noise, the cabin noise. I mean, the roads here in Sweden are pretty rough. The asphalt is rough to be able to withstand the winter and the freezing. So it's a bit more noisy than in other countries. Sweden has one of the roughest asphalts on the market, such to say. But yesterday I switched a EL7 with air suspension. It's a very silent cabin, one of the most silent cars I ever tested. And immediately after that jumped into this one, and there is a big difference. But I just want to make that clear. This car is not noisy. It's just more noisy than the EL7. But it's almost impossible not to be more noisy than the EL7. But I still think this is more silent than the Model Y and the Model 3. It feels like that. And I did a measurement on the ET5 sedan like half a year ago, but that was on 19-inch wheels and winter tires, studless Nordic tires. So that will be a bit more silent on this one. Pirelli P0 tires on this one, 20-inch wheels, so low profile tires, 245, 40. That of course adds to the noise in the cabin. So we need to think about that when you order a car. Because what you have to play with is, do you want to go for a better looking car, but accept things like a bit of a harsher ride and a bit of a higher noise in the cabin? Then it's worth it. because that's what you get. That's the reality. As soon as you go for bigger wheels, thinner tires, wider tires, you of course get more noise in the cabin. And that's the case for this car. But I'm soon gonna measure the noise level, so let's see how noisy it actually is. So just finalized the range and consumption test. The final consumption ended at 18.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That equals to a full range of the whole battery pack of 508 kilometers. So that's good. But I mean, optimal conditions, dry roads, 20 degrees outside. So it won't get better than this. Maybe a bit better when the tires are worn in. Otherwise, this is the top range you can expect in good conditions and in an average speed of 93 kilometers per hour. So 508 kilometers. That's good. Let's move on and have a look at the acceleration time. So 0 to 100 kilometers per hour and 0 to 60 miles per hour. So the specified time for this car is 4 seconds flat in 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Okay, so I'm ready for the first drag session. The first test, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, 0 to 60. Sport Plus Active. 80% state of charge, 82% state of charge. Dry roads, 19 degrees outside. Good conditions for a good 0 to 100 time. Let's see if 4 seconds is beatable. Let's go.
Zero to 60 miles per hour time 3.84 seconds. 0 to 100 km time 4.02 seconds.
So let's do another test. Sport Plus mode active. State of charge 81%. Launch mode. Go. Oh.
0 to 60 miles per hour time 4.06 seconds. 0 to 100 km time 4.31 seconds.
That's strange. So a bit slower when launching it with the brake pedal and accelerator at the same time. Let's do that again and see if it changes. Let's do another attempt. State of charge 81%. Sports mode active. Let's try launch mode. See what happens. Okay, go. Oh.
0 to 60 miles per hour time 3.68 seconds. 0 to 100 km time 3.89 seconds.
It's green, 3.89 seconds. This is the best time yet. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.68 seconds. Let's do a final attempt. State of charge 80%, Sports Plus active. Go. Come on.
0 to 60 miles per hour time 3.75 seconds. 0 to 100 km time 3.96 seconds.
So final results. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour done in 3.89 seconds. So 0.1 second or 0.11 seconds under the specified time. That's really good. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.68 seconds. So this is a quick car and it managed to beat the specified time. Let's have a look at the cabin noise. I'm not gonna drive around recording when I record the noise inside the cabin. That's boring. So here is the final score when it comes to cabin noise. I'm always measuring noise in different speeds. 50, 70, 90 and 110 kilometers per hour. This is the score. And just want to mention some comparable cars. It's more silent than the Tesla Model Y with 19-inch wheels. So that's good. It's a bit more noisy than the sedan version of the ET5, but that one was actually running on 19-inch winter studless Nordic tires, friction tires. So that's of course helping for the noise level, reducing the noise level. More silent than the Model Y with 19-inch wheels. It's a bit more noisy than the Nio ET5 sedan version with 19-inch wheels. It's more noisy than the Xpeng P7. And it's exactly on par, the average noise level, with the BMW i4 M50. I think that's a couple of comparable cars. Let's summarize. Good specifications, a car that really delivers. When it comes to noise level, I think it's good enough. It can be called silent. I mean, for its class and compared to the competition, it's a silent car. Would be interesting to see the difference compared to the newly updated Tesla Model 3, the Highland version, and see if this one is more silent. I think this will be a more silent car, even if I haven't tested the new Model 3 yet. But given that I owned a Model 3 earlier, a performance version, the big rims, that car was a lot more noisy than this one. So I think that 25% stated noise reduction in the new Model 3 may be able to compete with the cabin noise in this one. But overall, I will try to summarize. A great car. I really like the Nio, the ET5, especially in this touring version. It's a really anticipated car on the market, and as you all know, there is a lack of alternatives to SUVs. I mean, everyone is building sedans or SUVs, and there is nothing in the between. The only cars that you can get as a touring version or estate is the Taycan, the MG5, and now this one. And this is a great segment, the size, together with the looks, the practicality, and the performance. I think this will be a good selling car if people can get over the threshold and buy a Chinese brand. I think this is one of the best alternatives on the market currently. If you want an estate, a touring, a wagon, this is your best shot if you want a performance car with a premium interior and a premium look. This is your only choice. This is your only choice for the moment. And I think it's a good choice, really good choice. If there's something I would have wished for, it would have been a bit of a lower price, a bit higher efficiency. When it comes to efficiency, it's not on par with the competition like the BMW i4, and it's not on par with the Tesla Model 3. Those cars are more efficient and gives you more range per kilowatt hour. And that's important. So I think Nio needs to work a little bit more on the efficiency to be able to crank out a bit more range out of their battery packs. I've really been looking forward to test this with the car, and I hope you enjoyed all the information I just gave you in this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and do the same thing as my 10,000 other subscribers. Thank you so much everyone for subscribing, for liking, and for watching my videos. That's the best way to help me to create more content for you guys. So as I always say, stay electric. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.